So recently I was talking to a lady who told me she went to her doctor and the doctor said, you have visceral fat and it's dangerous and you need to go on a diet. But he didn't really tell her exactly what diet to go on. So let's just talk about the dangerous fat, okay? It's called visceral fat. But let me just show you the mechanism of how you get there in the first place. So you have this high insulin, okay? Insulin is a fat-making hormone. It's a fat-storing hormone. In the presence of just a little bit of insulin, you will not burn fat because it prevents the burning and the utilization of fat. And what triggers this is dietary sugars and carbs, frequent eating, omega-6 fatty acids like corn oil, soy oil, GMO, stress, and there's a whole list of other things as well, but these are really important things to know about. 65% of the population is pre-diabetic. So they may not have high sugars yet, like excessively high, but their sugars are starting going higher. But I think even a greater percentage of people have a higher amounts of insulin because this is what comes right before the prediabetes. Okay, so you have high insulin and you can have a whole chain of effects from belly fat to high cholesterol to high blood pressure to inflammation to brain fog. So your body then has to protect itself from the damaging effects of high insulin and high sugar. So it starts to develop a condition called insulin resistance. This is basically a protective mechanism to block the absorption of insulin. Okay, to kind of limit the amount of sugar and insulin going in the cells because it's harmful. So if a person continues to consume too many carbs too frequently, you're going to overload the blood and it has to go somewhere. So that sugar is then converted to visceral fat. So this is fat around the organs, inside the abdomen, because it has no place to go. So it's kind of a spillover fat. The liver is already, fatty, so it has to spill off into the abdominal cavity. So you have all this visceral fat. So this is really a storage facility of the excess energy that's coming in the body right here that your body can't do anything with. So it dumps it into some storage, around the organs. So it's trying to protect you. And it is true that visceral fat then gives off certain things that create more inflammation. That's true. This is why they tell you obesity is a risk factor for diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, cancer, because visceral fat gives off inflammatory compounds, which then worsen insulin resistance, which then causes more visceral fat. So it's a vicious cycle. So this whole emphasis is on obesity and the dangerous fat, getting rid of it. But what about this thing right here? Very little attention on this. It's all about go on a diet, do more exercise, eat less calories, etc., etc. So I just wanted to show you very simply what's really happening, what the body's trying to do. So the question is fat really dangerous? Well, not nearly as dangerous as this right here. Thanks for watching. Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book because there's only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.